Hey, you all, Carpetbagger here, coming to you live from our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. Yes, yesterday we were in Philadelphia, the original state capital of the United States, and today we have driven a few hours to the brand spanking new capital of the United States, Washington, D.C. I always love stopping by D.C. and one of my favorite things about D.C. is the Smithsonian museums. Now, the Smithsonian is actually a chain of different museums here along the National Mall, and I figured today we would check out the Air and Space Museum. I think the last time I was here it was actually closed to the public. They're in the middle of doing major refurbishments and I guess opening up in sections. The museum is actually open. It seems like they're doing quite a bit of construction, but it's actually open. So I figured we could peek in and see where the progress is with the renovations of the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum. Please follow me. Now over here is normally the front entrance, but that looks like they're actually doing some major renovations here right in the front. That limo bus passing by. So it looks like we're gonna have to go to the an alternate entrance here since this is currently being redone. Yes, as the museum is open, enter on Independence Avenue. So I think we are gonna be heading down this way. You can actually see the planes here on the fence pointing us in the correct direction. All the spaceships and planes pointing us this way, where we have to go in the back entrance. Now the Smithsonian museums are all free because, you know, we already paid for them with our tax dollars. But I did do some yesterday. We did not get into Independence Hall because I did not do my research. I did my research today, and the tickets are free to get into the Air and Space Museum, but you do have to make a free reservation online. So I went ahead and did that. We just need to find the actual entrance and head in. Yeah, it looks like some major construction going on over here. Oh yeah, it looks like they just tore down half the old museum. You can see that's all that steel wreckage right there. Yeah, what are they doing here? Guys hosing down that pile of wood. Got all these food trucks here along the street in DC. And here we are, coming in through the back entrance here. So the banner there, aviation and spaceflight have changed the world. Got the plane hanging over our heads, and you can see it is an active construction zone. They've got this whole area over here tarped off while they're currently doing the work. It's basically a multi-year process. I think they were completely closed down a year or two ago. Now they've opened back up, and I guess slowly revealing the rest of the museum. But I guess there's no place better to begin than at the beginning here with the Wright Brothers. We start out here with a statue of the two flying brothers, Mr. Wilbur and Orville Wright. And just so we can keep them straight, it is Orville with the mustache and Wilbur who is clean shaven. But here it actually talks about Orville's artistic side. Apparently he liked to draw plants, and occasionally he liked to jam out on the mandolin. That is Orville Wright's mandolin. Here is a Wright bicycle. Of course, they owned a bicycle shop and used the best in bicycle technology to make the first airplane. It says this is a very rare bicycle. It says only 5 of their bicycles still exist. Here we see the testing of a miniature airplane being flown like a kite. One of the crown jewels here of the Air and Space Museum. This is the actual 1903 Wright Flyer, the first aircraft to make a successful flight with a human being on board. This is the plane they took down to Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, and made the first flight. So yeah, that's pretty amazing. Be able to see this and see him there. I guess that is that's Orville there because he's got the mustache, and I guess just kind of laying on the wing. You know, it must have been pretty scary. You know, being the first person to ever fly in the air and just be like laying on your belly on canvas like that. And here you can see what the flyer feels like. So it does say that the fabric here has been replaced because it was getting you know, old and worn out. But they actually do have a sheet here of the original fabric from the original plane. Now there's the stopwatch that was used to time the first flight to see how long they could stay in the air. And this is a pocket watch that Orville carried while making the first flight. So technically, that is the first watch to ever fly. This is one thing that always kind of blows me away about the whole situation. 1903, we have the first ever airplane, first ever successful flight. Only 6 years later, in 1909, we have the first military aircraft. So 6 years after just getting the thing off the ground, we are using it in warfare. It says a lot. And here we have the first ever fatal plane crash, and actually involved Orville. So Orville flew on the first manned flight, as well as he was involved in the first fatal plane crash. Says they were doing exercises. They were working with the Army to sell the airplane, and I guess a Army observer, Thomas Selfridge, was on board, I guess, observing the flight, and they crashed the plane, and the Army lieutenant died. So even that, in 1909, so that was a year before they began using them in the military. So that apparently didn't slow things down. So actually, there is a piece of the propeller of the very first fatal plane crash. Wow. America by Air here. It's an exhibit on commercial airlines. We can look into the cockpit here of the Airbus 320. Shows a simulated takeoff and landing from Ronald Reagan Airport. Yeah, it looks like we're in the process of taking off here. There we go. Headed up to the sky. You can see the monitors there showing all the different readings. Of course, I have no idea what any of that means, but here we go. Headed up. Skyforth. There we go. Some of the classic uniforms there. We got the pilot uniform there in the center, and then some of these old flight attendant uniforms. This one caught my eye here with the sombrero, and it says that these were basically the stewardesses were originally intended to provide entertainment. Not only do they need to make the flight go smoothly, but they kind of put on a show, definitely different from the way things are today. You see this uniform here includes a mini skirt and go-go boots. Some of the different commercial jets here. Oh, there is the Frontier airline, the worst airline known to man. The front of that massive jet over top us. You see the landing gear. Then around the landing gear we have some luggage here. Shows different luggage gets shipped on airplanes. Some produce there. Box of lobsters. Here is TSA worker going through luggage, make sure there's nothing prohibited in these suitcases. See, these people have looks like they've just returned from Disney World, so a fun vacation has been completed. Yeah, showing the different types of luggage here. including we have a organ transplant. Let's see what organ. Oh, I think that's like a heart. Someone needs this heart. We have this bench here that has the actual different seat sizes from the different planes. This is a Boeing 747. It's 17.5 inches. Yeah, not all, you know, none of these are particularly roomy. Let's see, this is the small, yeah, these are the same. Boeing 737. This is the Douglas DC-7. That's got 20 inches. Oh, that feels positively luxurious compared to the 17.5 inches. Yeah, the plane, you know, planes, not comfortable. One of the main reasons I don't like flying, it's one of the reasons I always drive. You know, you've got, I hate dealing with airports. It's so, you know, so much, trying to be on time, so much rushing, parking, finding your gate. That's so stressful. Man, I hate sitting in these seats. I hate sitting in these seats for 2-3 hours. It's just, man, you're cramped, my back starts to hurt. There's someone over here, like, touching you, like, rubbing their arm against you. It's not my favorite experience. Looks like we can peek inside this DC-7 here. All right, be careful. It's a tight fit. Yeah, it shows a map here. We're in this front portion here, and yeah, it looks pretty nice, pretty luxurious seating in here. You can actually sit and type away on your typewriter. Here is a model of a Boeing 314, and it's a very interesting layout there. You can see the pilots up there, and they're very tip-top. It's like a whole office up there. And then you see the passengers down here. I don't know, I don't like how they're like facing each other. I think that would be uncomfortable, being able to look at people. Of course, you know, if you have someone you know across from you, but I don't think I'd want to be looking at a stranger all that time. Talks about commercial flight in the 20s and 30s, and said it was pretty intense. Shows here the Ford Trimotor during takeoff was as loud as a chainsaw, louder than the front row of a rock concert. Yikes. So, oh, okay, and only 40 decibels less than instant perforation of the eardrum. Apparently, they actually handed out megaphones to the passengers so they would actually be able to talk. They would shout through these tubes at each other. There are these seats of the notoriously loud Ford Trimotor, which I guess was made by the Ford Motor Company. So we get to stand on here. We can actually get a simulation of what it's like to ride on the Trimotor. There's people packed inside, and you can watch the teacup there. There we go. See the teacup rattling there. See my floor vibrating. Now this is interesting. This is a pilot with a knee board here. It's like a primitive GPS system. He turned the knob to kind of follow along with his own flight. This exhibit here is called We All Fly, because they have some unique aircrafts in this section. There is an ultralight. It's like a wind power turbine back there, and it's got like a hand glider. There was a guy that lived in the town I lived in that would fly one of these around, and I just remember just like looking up and saying, "What is that thing?" I was always called it. I always go around saying, "Who's the guy? Who's the guy with the flying bicycle?" Like, I don't know. Always just seeing this in the air just always shocked me. Apparently, they actually use ultralights in assisting with bird conservation. This is helping birds migrate, and yeah, some fascinating stuff down here, showing how they actually help train birds to fly. I guess birds that have been injured or whatnot, they actually take them out and help teach them how to fly again. So apparently this is the gear you have to wear while interacting with cranes. It covers you up so the birds do not try to imprint on a person. And also apparently you use this hand puppet, this crane hand puppet, to interact with the cranes so they don't see you as a human, they see you as a crane. The hot air balloons there. The hot air balloon basket. You know, I've never been in a hot air balloon basket. I've never rode a hot air balloon. I think that's actually something I do want to try to do someday, if the opportunity ever shows itself. I really like this one here, the Airphibian. You see, it's like a car that can, I guess, convert into an airplane. You have this back half here with the wings on it, and I guess you click the two together and it's an airplane, or you can unclick them and it's a car. Here's the drone section. It makes me sad. It makes me really sad. I used to use a drone to film in these videos, but I was told by the FAA that if I want to use the footage in my videos, I have to have a commercial drone license, which is actually really difficult to get, and I honestly just don't have time to do. But yeah, it does make me a little nostalgic seeing these drones. You know, flying drones. It's honestly, it's a lot of fun. See, they're hard at work here creating this exhibit space. It says this will be a new gallery for rotating exhibits. It says it will open in 2025 with an exhibit on climate change. This next exhibit is Early Flight. I guess we're actually going back. This is the prequel, going back to before the Wright Brothers. You can see the guy there has made himself an amazing set of wings. This amazing sculpture here, actually based on a drawing by a magician in 1820 on what he thought that human flight may look like in the future. It's like this giant steamship here that apparently contains like a whole city. You see buildings there, people there on the back. It's the model of a convertiplane. This was a theoretical helicopter that was actually invented in 1843. So a very early look into what people thought flying might look like. Apparently this museum just can't stop talking about the Wright Brothers, because here is the Wright Brothers military flyer, the 1909 version that they developed for the US military. You know, these are all different planes that were made after the Wright Brothers came up with their design. So these are all, I guess, the efforts of different people to either improve on the Wright Brothers design or make their own unique interpretation. And as we climb up here on the staircase, you can get a view of some of the planes hanging from the ceiling up here. See this crop dusting plane there. They used to have the Spirit of St. Louis hanging somewhere. I think that must be off exhibit right now. Yeah, it looks like up here on the second floor there are more space-themed exhibits. So we'll head in here. This is called One World Connected. So this big rotating Earth here, and you can actually use the computer there to set it to different settings. Right now I have it set on tracking wildlife, showing the movement of wildlife throughout the globe. Down here we have the 1992 future phone. So apparently this was meant to be the phone of the future. I think actually you would see an image here on the glass. There's the transponder. Yeah, for whatever reason these never caught on. I guess these are pieces of equipment that can monitor the environment. And there is one of those McDonald's burger cases that apparently ruined the world. It says they did not biodegrade and they released dangerous CFCs. There's equipment monitoring the ozone layer, showing off some of the items there that I guess helped make a hole in the ozone layer. Next up, we have Destination Moon. See the moon up there, the little craft orbiting it. Some sci-fi toys from the 1950s, kind of showing people's fixation with getting to that moon. And look at this. This is the Mercury Primate capsule, where he used to send a chimpanzee to space. That's Ham the chimpanzee, who rode to space in this capsule. Now, I'm looking around. I do not see Abel the space monkey. They used to have the taxidermied rhesus monkey that went to space here at the Air and Space Museum. It looks like they're off display. I don't know if they'll be adding them back with the new expansion, but yeah, that's one of my favorite artifacts here, the Abel the space monkey. Hopefully they bring them back. Here we have the spacesuit of Alan Shepard, who wore this during his flight on the Mercury Capsule Freedom 7. And there is the Mercury Capsule Freedom 7. This map shows here where different pieces of equipment used in space flights were made in the United States. With the toothbrush, the space toothbrush, made in Oklahoma. Oh, over there we have the space knife. You never know when you're going to space, you might have to fight an alien. And this is in Massachusetts. They made the shaving kits. Okay, this is pretty good. This is pretty insane. This is Neil Armstrong's spacesuit. This is the spacesuit that Neil Armstrong wore when he took his first steps on the moon. This is it. This is the suit. When he famously said, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." One of the most famous quotes ever spoken. He actually misspoke. He meant to say, "That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind," which actually makes more sense. But still iconic, and still, you know, one of the biggest moments in American history. This is the Command Module Columbia. This is the capsule that the astronauts rode back to Earth after their first visit to the moon. And of course, the highlight of any any space museum is, you know, look at some of the gross food that astronauts are forced to eat. You can see the that is tuna salad there. That brick there somehow turns into tuna salad. And these chunks here, that is chicken stew. So this is interesting. I guess this is a little bit off topic. The Nation of Speed. This is a exhibit on speed, on fastness of vehicles. Now you can see the American sports car here, the Chevrolet Corvette, and talks. Yeah, there are okay. So there are like fast planes and stuff in here, but it just focuses on the fastness of vehicles in general. I guess these are fast toys here. You have Barbie cruising along in her dream car there. Oh, look at this. We have one of Evel Knievel's motorcycles here in the Air and Space Museum. I guess it makes sense because he definitely took his motorcycles up into the air. There's an Evel Knievel pinball machine here. Hit the launch button. So there's no flippers. I don't know. Oh, you adjust the speed. I guess you just and then launch. Okay, I guess you're just adjusting it to try to get a good jump there on the pinball. I guess if anything is fast, it goes in this exhibit. There is a race car driven by Mario Andretti. I mentioned how sad I was about not being able to see Abel the space monkey. I love the idea of the taxidermied animals, famous animals that are taxidermied that you can come visit in museums, but I'm extremely happy that I get to meet Gilmore, the flying lion here. This is Gilmore. Taxidermied lion was a pet to Roscoe Turner here, who was an eccentric air racer. You see Roscoe's outfit there, and there's Gilmore. I guess he would literally fly around in a plane with a lion. This lion right here, Gilmore, said that Gilmore flew through 25,000 miles until he got too big to fit in the plane when it became impractical to fly around with a lion. That is absolutely amazing. It is great to meet you, Gilmore. Yeah, you can see the plane that Roscoe and Gilmore would fly in there. So some tight quarters, especially with a lion. You can see Gilmore there. I guess he did most of his flying when he was just a little lion cub in here. And again, he got too big. He got too big to fit on the airplane. But, aw, he looks like such a sweet lion. And he just loved to fly. He just loved it. So race car driver here, Liam Dwyer, is his racing suit. And you can see he has that prosthesis there. Apparently he got his leg blown off while serving in Afghanistan by a IED and had to have this prosthesis created so that he could operate the clutch. That's pretty remarkable. There's the motorcycle of Glenn Curtis there. He says he was a aviation and motorcycle pioneer. And over here we have the race car of Richard Petty. In all honesty, the exhibit here is pretty amazing. Literally the history of speed, the history of fastness. See some items here like this is a speed radar. Could you know tell how fast the cars were going. This here is the first ever 80-mile-per-hour speed limit sign was hung up in Wyoming. Literally the first time the speed limit had ever reached 80 miles per hour, and this was the first sign hung up. There is yeah, some speed devices there, the radar gun. This here is the fastest land vehicle in existence, the Sonic Wind rocket sled. It can go to a top speed of 632 miles per hour. Says that the man riding it experienced force equivalent to 4 tons, yet somehow was not permanently injured. So that is absolutely insane. I have never gone anywhere near 632 miles per hour. And of course, 2024, the year of the pressed penny here on the Carpetbagger channel. So let's get us some pennies here from the Air and Space Museum. I'm not sure which ones to get though. I'm actually not familiar with what any of these 4 planes were. I failed to learn anything about these individual 4 planes, but we'll grab one from each machine here. And this is a dollar-powered machine. Doesn't take change. Whoop! Doesn't take dollars either, apparently. Okay, let's see. Take my dollar, please. Come on. Come on, take it. Oh my gosh. The handle's in the way there. They got a corner. Let's try the other side. Yay! Okay, this one actually does not work. It actually stole two different dollars from me, so this one's a pressed penny fail. Let's check out the gift shop here. We have these Apollo H hoodies. It says failure is not an option. Now most museums have the astronaut ice cream. It's kind of the perennial science museum treat. This takes it to another level. They have some freeze-dried candy here. This is space candy. And not only do they have space candy, they have moon cheese. I guess this is cheese you'd eat in space. And over here, you have base pens. These are pens that you can actually write. You know, the ink won't drain out. You can write any direction. You can write in zero gravity. Is, you know, as rare as that situation may be. It's about $18 for a space pen. Here is Ham the Astro chimp. And I really, again, I keep harping on this. I'd love if they would make some merchandise for Abel the Space Monkey. Also bring him back to the museum. Sorry if I'm getting fixated here. Some space bears here. Can you imagine if they sent a bear to space? Also Space Snoopy, Space Hello Kitty. A snow globe here. This is the Smithsonian Castle, kind of the visitor information area for all the Smithsonian. museums. Give it a good snow there. So I must say, the Air and Space Museum, you definitely don't get a feeling. I was kind of worried going in that it would just be, you know, kind of a few exhibits open. You don't really get the feeling that you're in a half-opened museum. It really is. There is so much there, so many things. It really is a full museum experience. Of course, very sad that they did not have Abel, the space monkey, the taxidermied space monkey. Hopefully they will bring the monkey back at some point. Fingers crossed. I did enjoy seeing Gilmore the Flying Lion, and of course, you know, some of the artifacts are just unbelievable to be able to see with your own eyes. The Wright Brothers plane, the Neil Armstrong spacesuit, just those things are crazy, literally priceless. So definitely had a great time here, but I did want to walk down that way and visit what I feel is like a hidden gem. It's probably one of the least known of the Smithsonian museums, but I think we're gonna walk down there and check it out while we're here at DC. So yesterday we were in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We visited the old U.S. Capitol, the old House of Representatives, and the old Senate. And today we're here at the new home to the U.S. Senate, home to the U.S. House of Representatives, here at the United States Capitol building. And I've not been back here since since the incident, you know, the January 6th incident. It's interesting to see what sort of security they would have in place, how it would change. I think it's fairly similar to last time I'm here. Of course, all these stairs are blocked off. I mean, you can come here and take pictures and be a tourist, but obviously you can't, you can't go up the stairs at all. Actually, I'm thinking now that I'm trying to think back, I think you used to maybe have been able to go up right there to the first level of the stairs. If anyone remembers, leave a comment in the comment section, because I think you used to be able to get a lot closer. I know you used to be able to get a lot closer to the White House, but because of the way things are now, they've pushed back on that. And but here it is, yeah, the Capitol building. Yeah, we're here at one end of the National Mall. If you look behind me, you can look down the mall, and you can see the Washington Monument all the way there at the end. And we've come out here a little ways off the National Mall to visit probably one of the lesser known of the Smithsonian museums, the Smithsonian National Postal Museum. Oh, look at these steps. Head up here to the entrance. So this building itself used to be the Washington, D.C. Post Office. Over here, we have a statue of Oni, who was a real dog and the mascot of the U.S. Postal Service. They would mail the dog to different post offices around the country, and he would get different tags for each post office he went to. Now, I do believe, last time I was here, the real Oni is here, taxidermied in this building. Let's go see if we can find Oni. And here he is. There's Oni, the postal dog. Did see him there. I was worried. You know, we didn't see Abel, the space monkey, today, but Oni is still here. Again, traveled around the country, visiting all the different post offices. We get these badges put on his harness there from all the different places he went, and sadly, he actually was killed in Toledo, Ohio. The details are shady, but there's allegations that he may have bit a post office worker that said that it's possible that Oni had become, grumpy in old age, that he maybe had gotten a little grumpy because his harness had become so heavy, and he was shot by a police officer. And apparently the people mourned. People were sad. That's why they had him taxidermied. And apparently this taxidermied body was displayed at the St. Louis World Fair. Yeah, let's take a peek here. All of Oni's badges. See the Buffalo post office. Sometimes it says Hotel Adams there. So I don't know if you got these pins from hotels as well. Yeah, some of these are from hotels, some are from post offices. And here we have the different ways that mail is transported across the country: by truck, by plane, and of course by stagecoach. You can see that cowpoke up there riding a stagecoach, delivering a little bit of mail on the Pony Express. Even more ways mail can be transported here: by dog sled, of course, even by ski. And here under the stagecoach, we have this deep dark cavern. Where are we headed here? Oh, we're in the woods. So it's actually showing us the path of the first postal delivery in the United States. Took place in 1673. Says the worker used Native American trail markings to find the way to deliver the mail. Oh, look at that hawk up there. We have a World War II era mail truck, the World War II era mailman. And they're facing off here with a modern day mail person. Here we have an exhibit on the United States postal inspectors, who actually do a lot of surprisingly do a lot of work in fighting crime. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that people don't realize how much the post office is actually involved in crime fighting. It talks here about sending fraudulent items through the mail. It says this was a forgery of a Robert Frost handwritten poem, and a jersey there with a signature on it. And the post office is required to investigate and prosecute these crimes, as long as they're being sent through the mail. Post office also has to get involved when faulty supplements are sent through the mail. These are like like schemes like Fat Blocker, promises to make you thin. It says this is Smiling Bob from the Enzyte pills commercial. I actually remember that commercial. Apparently they got in trouble for fraudulently selling these pills that did not do what they claimed they did. This is pretty amusing here. These are scam prizes that people won, or they promise them, sign up and you get a free prize. And there's a sewing machine, and then obviously they show you the picture. They don't tell you how small it is. It says they promise people a stereo system and show them this picture. People think it's a big stereo system, but really it's super tiny. It says this was advertised as winning a 5-piece luggage set, but it's the size of like a bathroom case or something you put your bathroom items in. This is Elwood P. Zapp here. Is a puppet used to educate people on postal crimes. Yeah, sometimes when the postman shows up, he's not there just to deliver your mail. He's there to put you in handcuffs and take you away because you've been involved in mail fraud, sending out faulty scam letters telling people that they've won something. Some items used by postal inspectors to catch criminals. This clock has a hidden camera in it. I'm not even sure where the camera's at. I can't see it. And a pen and a watch there with a recording device in it. Talks about counterfeiting here. See some counterfeit stamps. But we learn really quickly, you don't mess with the post office. Here it talks about counterfeit money orders. So as you see, if you can see which one is the fake money order. No, the light there. So apparently, you can see that this is the fake because you can see the Ben Franklin just printed on there. You can't see it printed on the actual one, but when you turn the light on, you can see the watermark. Talks about the anthrax scare here. This was a huge deal in the early 2000s, and this is pretty nuts. This is a post office box in which anthrax was dropped into. This was in Princeton, New Jersey. So it says that this white powder we see over here, that's not anthrax. That's actually decontamination agents they used to clean this, to make it, you know, not toxic anymore. When you talk about bad men abusing the post office, there is no one worse than Ted Kaczynski, who was the Unabomber. That's the original sketch made of Ted Kaczynski. Of course, he was eventually found and arrested, and there's a pair of handcuffs that was actually used on Ted Kaczynski when he was arrested in 1996. Now, this is a mock-up. These were given to post office so they would know what a Unabomber package would look like, so they could keep an eye out and try to identify them if they arrived. Talks about disasters here and how the post office responds. You can see this piece of a mailbox there that's been impaled by a wooden shard during a tornado in Kansas. All the different post office drop boxes here. Let's check out the museum shop here. There's a post office mascot, Mr. Zip, who was introduced to help people get used to zip codes. There's a Mr. Zip ornament there for your Christmas tree, and a little plushy Mr. Zip as well. Look how orange he is. Some plushy eagles there, as well as a nice happy plushy mailbox. They have stamps for sale here, different framed stamps for stamp collectors. Oh, look at this. We have some Oni t-shirts. There's Oni the post dog there. And oh my goodness, they actually have a plush Oni here. I think he may need to come home with us. One of my favorite taxidermied animals of all time. Oni the postal dog. And they actually do have the astronaut ice cream here at the Post Museum as well. And here inside the gift shop, they actually do have an active post office where you can buy stamps and mail letters. But we can't miss out on the stamp gallery. Here in the stamp gallery, I actually have another disaster item here. This is a post office box that was damaged during 9/11. Says it was across the street from the World Trade Center. So we head under this archway of stamps here and into the gems. These stamps are so precious. They sit in the dark and they don't light up until you approach them. I guess the light would damage the stamps. That's just like, that's not even like a sticker. That's just like a stamp, you know, like a rubber stamp. Here is America's first stamps. They're stamps of George Washington and Ben Franklin there. Here is some moon mail. It says that these were stamps placed on an envelope in space on the moon. And it says that smudge right there was actually moon dust on the astronaut's glove. And here it is, the most rare stamp in existence, the inverted Jenny. There's only 100 ever made. It was a misprint. You see it light up there. You see the airplane actually printed upside down on the airmail stamp there. And like I said, a stamp collector showed up on the first day that these were printed to see if he could find a misprint. He found a sheet of 100 misprinted stamps where the plane was upside down. he purchased them. And today, one of those stamps is worth over 1.5 million. Oh, the light's fading. One of those stamps is worth over $1.5 million a piece. So that is $6 million worth of stamps right there in front of our face. Here is a pocket watch from a sea postal clerk, a postman that worked on the water. And this was actually found on the body of the post clerk who was floating in the water after the Titanic sank. So wow, the Titanic mailman's pocket watch there. Yeah, in these Smithsonian museums, you just never know what sort of incredibly rare artifact you'll stumble upon. Like, there's Amelia Earhart's flight suit here in the stamp gallery. And they also have a baseball exhibit here in the museum. And that includes this Louisville Slugger here, used by Babe Ruth. So thank you for joining me here today in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, checking out some of the wonderful Smithsonian museums, the free Smithsonian museums, the Air and Space Museum, as well as the Postal Museum here. I love checking out the Smithsonian, some of my favorite museums in the country. Definitely, you know, like to come check back every once in a while and see what's going on at these different institutions. I did end up purchasing my own Oni, the postal dog. He's one of my favorite taxidermy celebrity animals, so I figured we'd bring home Oni. Looks like he doesn't have any pins on his vest, so we may have to add some pins to Oni there. But thank you everyone who joined me today on my adventures through Washington, D.C. If you do like these videos, please subscribe. I travel around the country from roadside attractions, amusement parks, museums, haunted houses, and other fun stuff. If you do hit that subscribe button, do hit that like button, ring the bell, whatever it takes. I'm trying to reach 500,000 subscribers. Getting there slowly, got about 10,000 more to go. So if you want to help me out with that, I'd appreciate it. Also, there's other ways. If you'd like to help out the channel in other ways, consider contributing to Patreon. $3 or more, get you a postcard once a month from me to you. Also selling enamel pins in the Etsy shop and doing personalized messages on Cameo. All that information is in the description of this video, and all that goes to help keep this train on the track, this boat in the water, and this dirigible in the air. Until next time, my friends, this one's in the bag.